the Brown boys, the Brown boys, the Brown boys, we the Brown boys, the Brown boys, we the Brown boys. Yeah, boy, let's make some people mad. Yeah, boy, let's get them pissed off. Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. Let's get them mad. Where is the black community with Jaden Ivey preaching on the corner with unity? Where is the black community? Because Jaden Ivey on the corner preaching unity. Where the black community at? This man doing what pastors supposed to do. Where is the black community when a black man lost his job? Did I tell you that the whole front office of the Chicago Bulls got fired? Won't he do it? They played with one of God's children. The entire front office that handled this situation with Jaden Ivey is fired. I ain't going out. I'm going up, Terrence. Don't ever think I'm going out. I'm not saying nothing to disrespect anybody. I'm just asking a question. Where's the black community when a black man stand up for his religious beliefs and what he believes in? Is that not still free? Is that not still protected? I didn't hear him hurt anybody. They said that this man did conduct detrimental to the team. What was it? What did he say? What did he do? He said something that you might not agree with, but should he have been fired over what he said? Is that the standard now? So I want to see, where is the black community for Jaden Ivey?
My apologies for the language in this video, but check out what this gentleman had to say about Jaden Ivey in the black community. Y'all already see it right there. And then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna elaborate on what he said.
Where the fuck is the black community when it comes to Jaden Ivey? Because the NBA very clearly just chose LGBTQ over a black man who has worked his entire life to get where he is. Where the fuck is Dr. Umar and Conscious Lee and all these creators that would have lost their fucking minds if he had been waived because he made a comment about a white guy? Like, stop. Like, say he had been waived, instead of making a comment about the LGBTQ, say he had made that comment about a white dude. Say he had made a comment about Trump, and then he had got waived because of that. You would be in the fucking street protesting. Every black creator on this platform would be making videos about it. About how the white man is holding the black man back. About how Jaden Ivey worked his entire life, probably was the best basketball player in childhood, was without a doubt the best player probably in his high school's history, then went to Purdue and was a standout star and got into the NBA, something that such a tiny amount of the American population is even capable of doing, and even less are willing to do the work. Had he been waived for making a comment about a white person, even the president, y'all would have lost your minds. But because he made a statement about his faith in God and not supporting the celebration of Pride Month in the NBA, y'all are dead silent. Yeah, I don't want to hear shit about who holds the power in this country, because y'all are staying real quiet while the NBA chooses LGB over a black man.
Here's why the black community is silent. Because he's talking about Jesus, and not to talk about Conscious Lee or Dr. Umar, but a lot of black people don't believe in Jesus or follow him. This is more so spiritual. This has nothing to do with skin color. But I want to point out some things. It just goes to show you that it's not a white man's religion, because look at Jaden Ivey. He's following Jesus Christ. He gave up millions. So that says a lot. It speaks volume. But he's right. People not speaking up like they was doing for George Floyd, which I believe it was some propaganda, but that's neither here nor there. And also, when it came to Trayvon Martin years ago, people ain't speaking up for Jaden like they did Trayvon. And this is another story I believe was some propaganda, but that's neither here nor there either. Once again, people stand up for stuff like this, like BLM, something that was false. But once again, Jaden was talking about Jesus. So this is why we don't see the black community, because following Jesus Christ, all races and colors are following Jesus Christ. If you truly born again, you would stand with Jaden. That's why you don't see the black community. People stand up for politics. They stood up even for Charlie Kirk. But where are the black actors and the entertainers and people all across the world, the musicians, that's going to stand up for Jaden for standing up for Jesus? Where y'all at? Because y'all are silent, the church. Woo! My apologies for the language in this video, but check out what
Well, you know. It's crazy, man. People are always talking about standing for something, but they don't want to give up nothing. How you gonna stand for something without giving up something? Huh? We ain't ready to give up our big car. For the love of money, the man's wife left. He's no longer useful. He's no longer useful. Let's see. Now let's show you what's going on now that they made a decision like they made publicly. They're gonna try to keep this part quiet because the business side of things is gonna get ugly for the NBA for firing this young man the way that they did.
Situation just took the kind of turn nobody saw coming. Remember Jaden Ivey, the Chicago Bulls guard who got fired after going on Instagram Live, talking about his Christian faith and calling out the NBA's Pride Month celebrations as unrighteous. The Bulls said his conduct was, quote, detrimental to the team, even though their own head coach admitted he was showing up every day, rehabbing his knee, and just being a vocal Christian in the locker room. Well, exactly 1 week later, the Chicago Bulls just fired the two men responsible.
Ma'am, I'm not questioning whether he's prejudiced or whatever you think that he is. His wife left, who was only fornicating, marrying unequally yoked to his body, which is sin. Okay, whatever. All I'm saying is he was at a job. He was showing up for that job. He was doing the things that he was supposed to do for that job. Now, he said something that you may or not agree with. He said something that anybody could disagree with. You have a right to disagree with. But you don't have a right to fire a man for something that you don't agree with. You don't have a right to say he's doing something detrimental to the team for something that you don't agree with. When he said he was showing up every day, working out, rehabbing, you don't find a way to fire this man for that. This is setting a precedent, if you ask me.
For bringing him to Chicago in the first place. Arturas Karnisovas, the executive vice president of basketball operations, and general manager Mark Eversley, both gone, cleaned out, and the timing tells you everything. This is basically the same fight Jason Aldean had. We'll try that in a small town. The type of fights we see with country stars standing up for their values. You have an American institution like the NBA deciding American Christian values are a liability. And now, that same front office that just pulled the trigger and let him go is now unemployed. Earlier today, with less than a week remaining in the NBA season, the Bulls CEO announced the firings. Michael Reinsdorf's statement read, "We've not had the success our fans deserve, and it's my responsibility to go in a new direction." Now, the basketball case for firing these guys actually existed long before Jaden Ivey ever posted. 6 seasons, 1 winning record, 1 playoff series, but the timing here is impossible to ignore. Sources say the Ivey firing is directly related to this. The very front office personnel that pushed to fire Ivey are now unemployed just 1 week later. You do the math. And just last week, the front office was reportedly alarmed by the entire scope of Ivey's videos, and they rushed to cut him. They called it conduct detrimental to the team. They told the world Ivey didn't fit the organization's standards. And 1 week later, ownership decided that the people making those calls weren't the people that they wanted anymore making those calls after massive pushback, including from players. Now, the Bulls organization will never admit that this had anything to do with Ivey. They never will, but many are saying this was a major factor in the decision, opening up a national debate about Christianity in professional sports. The Bulls became a punchline. They became the team that fired a player for talking about Jesus, while keeping players in the past who'd been arrested for DUI, drug possession, and resisting arrest. Make that make sense. It's not the kind of national attention any owner wants. And remember, after Ivey was fired, the response from athletes across professional sports was immediate. Patriots running back Travion Henderson posted Matthew 5:10 in support of Ivey.
They've kept players in professional sports that beat their wives, that have did things to their children, that have had the drug problems, all kind of things. DUIs, unaliving people, they get reinstated in football for drinking and driving and unaliving someone. But if you talk about God in NBA, because you know the NBA cares, you talk about Jesus Christ in a world that's supposed to be Christian first, you can be fired.
And that single post pulled in 6.2 million.
Yeah, the NBA has a history of this. Mahmoud, Craig Hodges have a history of showing you they don't want to give a damn about your religion.
million views. Lakers forward Jake LaRavia posted John 14:6, putting himself on the line as a current NBA player. Numerous NBA players shared scripture in solidarity as well. Riley Gaines, Robbie Starbuck, Allie Beth Stuckey, Dana Lesh. Every major voice in conservative media took the story national within hours. The Bulls thought they were just quietly cleaning up a problem, but instead, they walked into a cultural firestorm. And 1 week later, those men who lit the match are out of a job. That is the importance of letting your voice be heard. And look, there's another shoe that may drop. Bulls head coach Billy Donovan, the guy who went in front of cameras and tried to spin the Ivy firing, talking about standards and different walks of life. His future with the team is also now uncertain. Reports say he's already been looking at college coaching jobs. Whether the new front office keeps him or moves on, Donovan knows the ground just shifted under his feet. 1 week ago, the Chicago Bulls cut a 24-year-old former top 5 draft pick because he talked about his Christian faith on social media. They told the world it was about standards. Athletes across 2 professional leagues stood up and posted scripture in protest. Major voices in national media made the story unavoidable. And today, the men who pulled the trigger on that decision were fired by their own ownership. So let me know what you think down in the comments. Subscribe with notifications on for more news and updates.
Roland Martin has recently been on a rant of sorts. Typically, it's been aimed at FBA. It's been aimed at people who want to delineate. And I want to say,
let me say this before this one start. I think that I think it's unfortunate that somebody can be fired for their religion, their Christian faith, and not harming or hurting anyone, to be made crazy or to be made something just because you don't agree with him. Fire him for what you don't agree with him on. Fire him because you don't like that he said something about the LGBT. Don't lie and say he did something conduct detrimental to the team, so at least we know.